Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Monday morning, July 13th, 2026. Treezilla's in the fog and rain today. And this day in music history, July 3rd, 1964, the Beatles release A Hard Day's Night. Ringo Starr is credited for coming up with the title. Stephen Blatt is born in Boston, Mass. He was the drummer for the J. Giles Band. In 1935, Pete Escovedo is born in Pittsburgh, California. He was the drummer for Santana. Take care of a little housekeeping here. Get this started up. Over on the Rumble side, I have to do a little manual adjustment. (769) EIC. Hello and welcome. And because of today's weather, first song that comes to mind is Carpenter's Rainy Days and Mondays. But that's true about any foggy, rainy Monday. I just disagree with the always gets me down part of that song. We're listening to the birds sing. We've got coffee in our cup. Life is good. Had a great day on the mountain yesterday. Met a bunch of people. Some of them have already come to the Nature Channel. And maybe they'll find out about the music channel and show up. Soul Star, thank you. And I enjoyed sitting in your chat yesterday. And that was some good news about what you're planning on doing. That's, I think that'll work out well. Mr. Lee, good day, sir. Uh, I have not covered the topic of Van Morrison. I was going to wait till football was over. Oh, thank you, Soul Star. The I wanted you to get caught up on your sleep before I covered that topic. Oh, and Soul Star, thank you for telling everybody that the birds were real and not AI. Uh, the good thing about the birds being real is they sound really good, but sometimes they just get quiet. Well, good luck, Mr. Lee. Yeah, I understand your trepidation with the open panel part of that. I have been in, of course, this was a couple of years ago on some of this stuff, but I have been in chat or on panels, and people would come up and just do stuff that was totally inappropriate. So you do have to be careful. Uh, I told you, Mr. Lee, you might be better trying to get a tan under a full moon so you don't burn. Just saying. There was a Mr. Lee. There was a guy. he did a video. He's been living in the United States for 15 years, and he did a video as if he was moving back to the UK. And he was talking about all the things he was going to miss. And then at the end of his video, he said, just a joke. This was to cover all the people who had been here for the soccer tournament having to go home. Something along those lines. It was funny. Mr. Lee, we got down below, let's see here. We got below 20 centigrade. I mean, barely below 20, but we did. Khadijah, good morning. Hopefully that little break in the rain lasts until you get to your destination. And there was a concert in Charlotte Saturday night. I wanted to go so bad, but I just couldn't. I couldn't part with that much cash. I tried to get I tried to find a hotel that was within walking distance of the venue, and the closest one I could find was like 2 or 3 miles away, and they wanted almost $300 for one night, and I couldn't. I just couldn't part with that much cash. 26 is pretty much delightful. I mean, it's not comfortable, but it's delightful. We've been well, the good news is in the last few days we've got a little reprieve. We've been like 32 C, but we had a couple of days where it was 42 C, Mr. Lee, and that was air temperature, not heat index. And I was going through some music history this morning to get this stuff, what I thought you guys might enjoy. And it's scrolling across the bottom as usual. But there was a couple of things that I thought I had mentioned recently, because one of the things was in 1987. Kylie Minogue, she was a soap opera star in Australia, and she debuts The Locomotion, her cover of that song, and it goes to number one. And I could have sworn that I'd already covered that just a couple of weeks ago. And David Bowie and Mick Jagger released their video Dancing in the Street. It just seemed like I just talked about this with you guys just a couple of days ago. Oh, Khadijah, no, I don't do that to people. When I went to Florida, I told Moggs and Stevie B I wouldn't do that, because with my allergies, I snore like a freight train, and I wouldn't do that. But thank you for the offer. And I didn't want to fight the traffic. That's why I wanted to find a place like walking distance of the venue. But the The concert was AC/DC. Uh, and the opening band was the Pretty Reckless, and the Pretty Reckless was really what I wanted to see. Yeah, there's a couple of Australian singers that I've started to follow. And yeah, Soulstar. My only problem with air mattresses is they just don't last. I take extra care not to get them close to anything sharp, but still somehow they find a way to get a leak in them. Khadijah, you don't know how much I appreciate the offer, but like I said, I don't do that to people. Now, if my allergies aren't acting up, you know, that's a whole other story. Oh, Mr. Lee, you've got to check out two of their songs. 25 is one of them. The band wrote that song after one of their, I think it was a manager, passed away, and the Death by Rock and Roll. I strongly suggest you check out the acoustic version. And I'm going to bet money you already know the lead singer for that group. If you ever watch the movie Jim Carrey, How the Grinch Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey, the lead singer for the Pretty Reckless is Cindy Lou Who. I have never heard of an air mattress squeaking. YKB, what's up? But Mr. Lee, check out the acoustic version of 25 and Death by Rock and Roll. It's been out for years, but Taylor is some kind of great singer, let me tell you. I bet YKB knows about the music group, The Pretty Reckless. I know I've been listening to them for over 6 years. Oh, and Mr. Lee, another one that's pretty wild. It's a messed up world, and that's cleaned up for radio. On their album, it's something else. Good morning, Mike. WTF, Mike. You know who the Pretty Reckless is, don't you? Oh, geez, Soulstar. I'm so sorry. It has been, yeah, uh, let's just say similar, uh, been going on here too. Soul Star. Oh, geez. I see what you're saying now, Mr. Lee and YKB. Yeah, I was just telling them about Taylor Momsen. She was Cindy Lou Who in How the Grinch Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey. Yes, South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham passed night before last. Uh, I didn't know about Sam until just now. So, Mike, what's your favorite song by the Pretty Reckless? Messed Up World, 25, My Medicine, Death by Rock and Roll. Those are the biggest ones that I remember. Okay, I'm not familiar with And. Yeah, Bonnie passed like a week ago Sunday or something like that. Yeah, that one's pretty good. I like that one, Mike. But Taylor's got a voice. Oh my goodness. Everybody's talking about, this and that singer. I think Taylor should be on top. Don't get me wrong, Amy Lee can sing and sings very well. And I can't remember her first name, but her last name is Hale. She's the lead singer for Hellstorm, and she's a good singer. But I just like Taylor's voice, and I like her music better. Boy, I barely got WI typed in, and she came right up. I've seen her before. I've seen that. I've seen her face before. I couldn't place it. Oh, geez. So yeah, it looks like It looks like she passed with bad intentions toward her, shall we say. Northwoods. Norma and Raymond. Good morning, both of you. Uh, Northwoods, yeah, Dr. Demento. I used to listen to him on the radio, and I never heard Weird Al on the Dr. Demento show. The first place I saw Weird Al was Late Night with Tom Snyder. He was on there with his drummer, and the two of them played Another One Rides the Bus. And I think the drummer was pretty much using a bucket, and Al was playing his accordion. Not the smoothest of starts, but he was so weird and funny. I pretty much became an instant fan. And I miss Tom Snyder. When I was working second shift, and I always looked forward to seeing his show when I got home. Mr. Lee, that's true about everywhere. I had people calling me and asking me about Lindsay, and I told them, I said, we're going to have to just wait because he just come back from Europe, and he was in a contested zone, so to speak. So there's all kinds of rumors going around, and it'll take a few days for us to get an inkling of what actually happened, and I don't think we'll ever know for sure. He was a big fan of the jab. He had multiple doses, and what he passed with is conceivable to go along with some of the bad side effects of the jab. But time will tell. Oh, the rain's picking up. You guys hold down the fort. I'm going to go grab, I started saying another cup of coffee. Lindsey Graham, he was a senator from South Carolina, and I used to live in South Carolina. So that's why people ask me. Yeah, it's raining. It's a light rain right now, but it's raining. I'm going to go refill my coffee cup. I'll be right back. If it's the end of coffee in the coffee pot, I'll take an extra minute to rinse it out. Hey, Misty. Yeah, I saw on the radio. Listen to me. I saw on the radar, Misty, that it was raining over your way. I'll be right back. it was to rain like this for a day or two, it would be good because it's steady and light. It would all soak in. Uh-oh. I didn't hear about that. When I was checking out the radar, the rain is coming from the southwest, and as it's coming around the mountains, it's getting just a little bit of a swirl to it. You got to watch the radar cover about 15-20 minutes to see the swirl. Mr. Lee, to be as small as he is, he can put away some serious food. I am just amazed. I mean, amazed. The drummer of Santana, he was born in Pittsburgh, California. It kind of there's I didn't know there was so many connections between Pennsylvania and California. There is a college in Pennsylvania that sounds like it should be in California. Mike's a farmer. He keeps up with all the weather. So, Mike, are you indoors today or out in the fields? What's on your agenda? Oh, okay. Thanks for the update, Val. And the only reason I knew about that college was I met somebody on the trails. This was in the 90s, and they were going to that university, or I would have never heard of it. And it's one of my Mike, I did not see that. But they take credit for stuff they don't do anyway. But I was talking to her about this and that. Oh, okay, Val. And she had gone into college to be an interior designer. That was her life's goal. And she was required to take a science, and the only science class available. Mr. Lee, you take care. Thanks for stopping in. Don't sunburn. Get some SPF 5000 on you. And turn, don't burn. So she entered college, had to take that science class, and the only thing available was a geology class. And it was like, it wasn't even Geology 101. It was some intro to geology or something like that. She took the class, enjoyed it so much, She came out of college with a degree in geology and totally changed her life. That's why I'm a bit of a fan of sampling different subjects to kids in school, because if you've never been exposed to it, you don't even know to ask about it. It's like everybody from the UK coming over here and being exposed to ranch dressing for the first time. If you don't know it exists, you don't know to ask for it. And Mike JG's having a time if he's in that festival today, because they're getting rain. I was just talking about, before you came in, Mike, I was just talking about how I wanted to go to a concert in Charlotte, but I just couldn't financially, come to terms with doing it. I could have gone. I could have, you know, paid it, but it would have just been too much money just for a concert. Well, we know at least some of his spending habits is going to be fishing related. Ah, gotcha. I understand, Mike. When I turned 16 and started working, I, still in high school, but I had two jobs most of the time. I started buying my own clothes and stuff like that. I'd still get clothes for Christmas and birthdays, but I was already being transitioned into time to support yourself. Gotcha. I went to a technical school, but I went to school full time and held down a full time job. I went to school during the day and worked a second shift job. So when I graduated, I had no bills. Yeah, I paid as I went. And I pushed that little 2 year degree as far as I could. Probably for 10 or 15 years when they saw that I worked full time and went to school full time and had the GPA I had, they would just hire me, period. Gotcha. Northwoods, thank you for your time. Yeah, ugh, hot months. Yeah, I knew the rain wouldn't stay steady. It's picking up. I think that's a great idea, Mike. I like these savings accounts for kids' colleges and everybody can donate. I think that was a great idea. I think some of the predictions are a little optimistic, but I still think it's a great idea. And I like they're kind of floating an idea now that colleges have to prove the degree they're offering is when the student comes out, they're going to get a job making enough money to pay for their student loan. And if the college can't prove that, then the student loans cannot be used for that degree. And in some ways, I agree with that. Some ways, fewer ways, I disagree with it. But And I'm not opposed to a lot of kids at least spending 2 years in the military after high school before they go to college. Let life smack them in the face a couple of times before they go to college. I think they might take it a little more serious. I got out of high school and I didn't want to go to college right away. I had an idea for college, but just it didn't pan out because I saw right away I couldn't afford it. Something along those lines, Mike. If you can't get decent income from it, the student loans are not going to go toward that degree. I think that would be a good thing. Back to 2 years in the military, I think that's a good idea. Like I said, I ended up taking a few years off between high school and going to the tech school, and I took it so much more serious. Had several people think I had passed away because, again, full time at both work and school, uh, nobody saw me. When you go 2 years and nobody sees you, people think that you either committed a serious crime or passed away. Most thought I had passed away. I still say, and again, I was young and dumb when the guidance counselor told the Marines that I had asthma, and they kicked me out before I was even in. I wasn't uh, smart enough to ask the guidance counselor, okay, if I don't do this, what am I going to do? Because I was kind of ticked off at him for, spilling the beans. Yeah. Uh, I don't care what anybody says. Anything you work for, you're going to appreciate it more because you see firsthand your time and effort you put into it. I was 20. I was 25 when I graduated college. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I mean, I could have gone to a 4-year school and come out with $100,000 in debt. And in 1980, $100,000 was a bunch of money, and I probably would have made 50 or 60,000 right out of school. But still, I mean, that's a lot of money. And during that time, we had this peanut farmer in charge of the country, and interest rates were over 15%. If you bought a home in the latter part of the 70s under a peanut farmer, you had to have a 20% down payment, and you do good to get a 15% loan. Good morning, John P. So I really didn't want to borrow money at that percentage rate. And if you're paying 15% interest, it only takes 5 years for your debt to double at 15%. Actually, a little less than 5 years, but round numbers, 5 years. Compounding interest can be great, but boy, it can be a knife in the back. I just wish that kids would learn one simple formula. If your income is 10, your spending needs to be less than 10. Yeah, I know. I'm going to ignore it. One of the jobs I got after high school was I was working for a loan company, and I did sales financing, second mortgages, and loan collection. And I saw people smiling from ear to ear getting a loan and paying 24% interest. And that's, people need to avoid borrowing money. They really need to avoid it. Borrow money to buy a house, because as long as you take decent care of that house, it's an investment and you'll get your money back and then some. I'm not a fan of borrowing money to get a car, because the car is going to go down in value and it's going to cost you more because you're paying a loan, and the loan has interest. I knew this one couple. They were young and they were making good money. Both of them were professionals, and but they had to live in a certain neighborhood and drive a couple, the perfect car, and they were paying top dollar for everything. And then they were eating hot dogs and cottage cheese. I don't like the idea of living like that. Oh, Mike, some of the short-term loans were in the 30-some% range. I know, Mike, I know. But, these days, it's like when I bought my first place, I was happy as I could be to get a 9.25% interest rate, because the interest rates had been over, like I said, 15%. Yeah, at 24% in 3 years, your money's doubled. Yep. And like I said, I was happy to get it that low. I was happy to get it that low because it had been way high. Like I say, Mike, people need to learn history. They need to learn what really happened. I think Peanut Farmer was a nice man. I think he was very intelligent, but he was a terrible president. Yeah, I understand Northwoods. Yeah, if you're going to borrow money to buy something that's going to increase in value. I don't suggest buying stuff on credit that's going to decrease in value. Yeah, people don't realize how good it is right now compared to other times in history. It's like the Boston Tea Party. Don't quote me on this, but I think the whole revolt was because they wanted to put a 3% tax on tea, just tea. And until around 1900, the U.S. Government operated on tariffs. Goods coming into the country, they paid a tariff on them, and that financed our government. And nobody was paying taxes, income taxes. I think if everybody had to write a check at the end of the month or 2 times a year, something reasonable. But if they had to write a check to pay their taxes on their income, I think people would look at it totally different. Because, I mean, you remember the Christmas Savings Club where they would deduct so much out of your check every week, and then come Christmas time, you would have spending money for Christmas presents. And the reason that worked was because it came out of your check before you saw it. And it was painless, so to speak. Well, they're doing income tax the same way. The U.S. government does not collect income taxes. The company you work for collects income taxes. Yep, Mike, I totally agree with that. That's just my 2 cents. And it's like here in North Carolina, they signed the budget within the last week or two, and they were happy as they could be that it was an all-time record spending in our budget. It's like, no, that's not what you celebrate. You celebrate an all-time low in spending. North Carolina, just in my lifetime, I couldn't tell you the number of times at the end of the year they had more money than was in the budget to spend. And instead of giving it back to the taxpayers, they found a way to spend it. And usually they would find a way to spend it in a program that would require that spending from then on. We don't have an income problem. We have a spending problem. Now I've got the Beatles tax man playing in my head. Well, that subject didn't fly too well. Half the people in chat disappeared. Got rid of the lurkers, though. I like lurkers. People need something to do. You guys hold down the fort. I'm going to get the last cup of coffee. rinse out the coffee pot, and I'll be right back. Northwood says, thankfully, there's no state income tax in Texas. The Michigan Department of Treasury received my 2025 return, but they flagged it for requiring a review because you left the state. Yeah, that is becoming a thing with the liberal states and everybody moving away. They are looking for ways to penalize you for leaving their choices. In New York, if you work in New York one day, you have to pay New York taxes. And they are aggressive with their taxes. And Northwoods, I think in many ways you're in a much better situation where you are. The governor of New York State, Kathy Hochul, she was funny as she could be. You people leaving the state, we don't need you. If you don't agree with our politics, good riddance. And it was only a few months later she realized that all the tax money that was leaving the state. She said, "Oh my gosh." But she was asking for those people to come back. Let's put it that way. Rod Stewart collected his CBE from Prince Charles at Buckingham Palace. He wore a skull and crossbones tie. Oh, geez. Uh, the original concept of the different states was every state can try out policies, and the ones that work, other states can go along or not if they don't want to. But you look at one particular political party and the big cities that they have run and the states that they have been in charge of for decades, and they're just being run into the ground. But people, for whatever reason, they can't make that connection between who they elect and what the results are. It's like here, I don't understand. Most of our elected officials are one, uh, you know, mindset, but our governor always seems to be the other. I don't know how that happens, but it does. But Tennessee, when you buy your car, you own your car. Uh, in certain towns, you got to pay what they call a wheel tax, but it's like $40 a year. But if you don't put your car on the road, you don't have to have insurance and you don't pay any taxes. And in most of the state, you put it on the road, you pay for a tag, and that's about it. And I thought, geez, the sales tax in Tennessee is high, but when you're not paying a state income tax, who cares? Mike, who else besides the Beatles has a song about taxes? Beatles has Tax Man. Northwoods, how far west in Texas do you have to go before it's not flat? I know the western part of the state has some hills, at least, if not mountains. Northwoods, that is a true statement. We have several lower level elected officials that have said that they are to tear down the Constitution and rebuild the country. We had a president who pretty much said that, but he said it in a much more polite way, and he got elected twice. I vaguely remember that song from when I was a kid. When it comes to Johnny Cash, the only two songs that I like is Boy Named Sue and Ring of Fire. I remember when Boy Named Sue first came on the radio the first time, and I heard that ending. We laughed so hard. Mr. Thief by Cheap Trick. I'm going to have to look that one up. Yeah, the Beatles Taxman, that one has been so popular for so many decades. I can't think of too many people who wouldn't know about that one. And they play it on the radio come April 15th. Oh, that rain's back to a steady lull. That is so nice. Mike, I'm very pleased that you know that old Cascades song. That song came out when I was a kid. I wish that it would go away and let me cry in vain. Nah, thank goodness it's not like that today. The rain is here, but it's a pretty happy day. It's like I already said earlier, but maybe you guys weren't in here. The Carpenters, Rainy Days and Mondays. You know, I hadn't seen Tony Nasser in a while. I need to send him an email. Yeah. Oh, who did that? Boomtown Rats. Is that who sang that, Mike? When I was out in the workforce, seldom did I take a long vacation. I I would use my vacation taking a Monday off or a Friday off, or Monday and Friday off. That way, I only had to take 2 days. I was assured not to have to work during the weekend, and I had 2 short weeks. I, I'm not really a fan of Boomtown Rats, so I'm a little surprised that I even remember that. Tell me why I don't like Mondays. I've heard the song, but that's about all I remember of it. Yeah, I didn't know that, Mike. I didn't know that's what the song was from. That's crazy. I I would rather hear songs that come from, and Northwoods will appreciate this. Uh, Phil Collins, many of his major hits were songs that he created from his breakup. I would say close to a third to a half of his top hits were songs that he wrote to deal with breakup, divorce, and such. And then you got artists who pretty much build a career over singing about their breakups, but we won't go there. Treezilla's wiggling in the wind pretty good. Of course, Mike. I don't know if you, I don't know that he's ever gone that far. I don't know her song list well enough to say yes or no to that information. I miss the days of people singing about ending the war. Everybody, come on now, get together. Mike, what brand of coffee do you have? What's your go to? Oh, I don't know, Mike. Carrie Underwood, after she left American Idol, she was a country star, and I don't follow country music. Oh, I was watching a video of, I think it was in Florida, and this car was driving the wrong way on interstate, and the police hit the the police had to do maneuvers to get the car stopped, and it was this young girl who was just, she could stand up. Her speech was not slurred, but she was twice the legal limit drinking. And in her mind, she was not driving the car. Her husband was driving her home because she didn't have her glasses. And she was standing there telling the police officer that yes, she wore glasses, but she didn't have them with her because her husband was driving her home. And the other cops that come up after the pit maneuver was done, they were going, somebody else in the car? No, she's the only one. Crazy stuff. Yeah, Folgers is the one that I drink too. The other one that I would alternate depending on which one was most cost effective, I stopped drinking it because I heard some of the chemicals they're putting in it. I've never had Death Wish. I need to break down and get some of the mushroom coffee. I've heard several people talk about that doing them right, but YKB must have disappeared and gone on a bike ride. Kathy must be lurking. Yeah. Yeah, I think I was in 5th or 6th grade when that song come out, and there was one short word in that song that we all just kind of sort of I'm not sure the name of the person who sings it is on the tip of my tongue, but I can't think of it. But I remember the song all too well. Oh, okay. YKB's a pretty good artist. I like some of his artwork that he's drawn for his channel. Some people on the trail yesterday, uh, they were talking about seeing a copperhead crossing the trail, and it was just ahead of me by like 5 minutes. I totally missed it. But one of the people showed me a video, and it was a big copperhead, and it was on a mission. It was moving in a direction with purpose. Can't even run his own life. I mean, he can't run mine. Let me check something real quick here. That's good. Thank you, people in Rumble this morning. Got 5 people watching over there. Yeah. No, it didn't get us upset. All the kids in 6th grade or whatever was laughing at it because they didn't put stuff like that on the radio. And then Aerosmith got by with some serious stuff, and well, the Beatles got by with some serious words that was barely audible, but if you knew where to listen to them, you could hear it. Well, it just wasn't played on the radio, you know. Things were super clean back then. But when Aerosmith come out with Walk This Way, uh, we were amazed that it stayed on the radio and did as good as it did. You got to remember, this was during the days George Carlin did his 7 Dirty Words routine. Yeah, Aerosmith pushed the envelope in the early 90s when they come out with Love in an Elevator. But I mean, even that wasn't as bad as Walk This Way. I mean, we were just amazed that it got radio play. But it's probably part of the reason of the satanic, uh, uh, Al Gore's wife and all of them wanting to ban certain lyrics and music. And then you got the frilly, pretty, melodic, Afternoon Delight Starland vocal band, and that one was obvious to most people, but it still got airplay. Not here, Mike. Uh, YT will come down on you for the wrong, for not being politically correct. But I still kind of like the way Rupert Holmes, his warped sense of humor with Timothy. We've already talked about that before a couple of times, I think, Mike. But make it a happy-go-lucky song until you listen to the lyrics, and then people were freaked out and took it off the radio. Yep, Tipper Gore, uh, Tipper Gore, and a couple of other ladies. Uh, but I have to say, the lead singer for Twisted Sister, I think it gave him a moment in the sun that should go down in history. He testified in front of you know Congress, and he really told it like it was. He had his hair pulled back, and he didn't have on the makeup that he wore in Twisted Sister. And he was saying how he had never done drugs, would never do drugs, and that he wanted to give a positive statement. Hey, she's married to Al. You know, she could name herself anything she wanted to. Because he invented the internet. Just ask him, he'll tell you. Uh, I still find that funny. Him taking credit for the internet. really back in the late 70s, Tipper wasn't that bad. Frank Zappa named his kids uh, Moon Unit and Dweezil. So Tipper was kind of calm. That was their first album they released. We talked about that on Saturday Night Music Talk a week or two ago, and I'm here to tell you, in at least one of the songs on that album, he's rapping. He is not singing. He is full blown rap. Oh no, but I remember Joan was interviewing him on one of the late night talk shows, and Frank was just, I mean, he used his brain. And they were talking about the AIDS epidemic going on at the time, and he had some really good questions, about where did it come from. And he gave three options, and you could tell how smart he was. Wasn't it Fiona Apple? If you're talking about the singer, I thought her name was Fiona Apple. She had the hit song "Criminal," which I really liked. I thought that was a good song. It had she sang it very well, and I liked the music to it. It was well written. Yeah, Fiona Apple did "Criminal." I looked it up just to be sure. Fiona Applegate might be a different person, Mike, but the singer was Fiona Apple, and I think "Criminal" come out sometime in the '90s. I liked it enough. I bought the CD. And Fiona was the name of a character in Burn Notice. I like that TV series. Applegate was the name of the blonde daughter, the actress in Married with Children. Her name was Applegate. I think it was Christina or Christine Applegate. Married with Children was hilarious. Yep, yep. Uh, it was comical. It was interesting. All of the above. Good action movie or a good action TV series, I think. And Bruce did a really good job in acting in that TV series. Bruce Campbell, I think, is his name. Mike, I don't think I've ever heard of that one. Was it on cable TV? Justified? I'll have to look that one up. Oh, it's on Hulu and Disney. Yeah, it was on FX networks. That's why I've never seen it. That when it first came out. Frank, hey buddy. I was lurking when you and Danny did your live stream. Well, we'll forgive her for stealing all your bacon. Maggie's a little dear. Frank, how you doing, buddy? You working this morning? Taking a break? Oh, the young woman driving on the wrong side of the interstate. Uh, she was in Florida, Frank. Uh, so watch out down there. Well, we appreciate you stopping in. It's always good to know that you and Maggie are doing great. Yeah, it looks like we're going to get a steady rain for quite a while. Looks like the mountains have got a few warnings going on. Oh, geez. Mike, if you hadn't asked me, I could have told you. I want to say Living Dead, but that doesn't sound right. But it's where he replaces his arm with a chainsaw and crazy stuff. I mean, crazy stuff. I think that's what made him famous was that cult movie. Uh, Army of. Uh, I think it had Army in the name also. Uh, I hate looking stuff up. I like to test the memory before I do that. Army of Darkness. Yeah, that's it. Army of Darkness. I knew it. See, I just needed to think. And then I typed in that name and it came right up. Night of the Living Dead was the zombie movie. Evil Dead. He did that one also. I think Army of Darkness was first, and then he did Evil Dead after. One fed off of the other. Uh, Army of Darkness was the sequel to Evil Dead. So Evil Dead was the first. Actually, they had two Evil Deads and then Army of Darkness. Those movies come out while I was married and not spending much time watching TV. I was a busy individual. plus two. Along those years, Mike, I grew up watching horror movies, and late 80s, early 90s, I came across a traffic accident. Hey, Roger Blair. I came across a traffic accident, and it was really gruesome. And I saw all the carnage and everything. And I got home and I realized that uh, it did not affect me at all seeing the carnage that I saw. And I said, I have seen so many slasher movies and whatnot. I had become inured to the sight, and I said, that's not a good thing. So I stopped watching them for a good while. Yeah, you don't want to view something and become numb to something that humans should not become numb to. Kathy Bates, good morning, Kathy. Kathy's been lurking. Dolly, how's your arm, Dolly? Yeah, yeah. You just see too many bad things for too long, and you've got to consciously make a decision to you know not guide yourself in the wrong direction. Thanks, Dolly. And everybody, I think I'm going to try to make this a Thursday morning thing. Uh, the Thereabouts, Mike. It's raining. I don't have any place to rush off to. I might go a whole minute over. But Thursday morning show. Bring your prayer request, and I'm going to email those in, and then everybody on Friday just pray for anybody on the list. We'll call it the Friday list. Yeah, Kathy, it's already a better day because we're all you know giving well wishes to each other. That's a better day right there. And then for those who don't pray, meditate, send good vibes, whatever your belief system is. Sure thing, Kathy. I'll do that. I put Dolly on it whether she wanted it or not because I saw her arm, and that's exactly right, Dolly. Look for ways to make things work. You listen carefully to people when you're talking to them, and you will tell their point of view pretty quick if they take whatever you say and lean toward the negative side instead of the positive side. Sometimes people have a bad day and they lean toward the negative side. Sometimes they're having a good day and they lean toward the positive side. But actually, I learned that in a job I had. Uh, I was asking, why on earth did we make a loan to this deadbeat? And I was told to go back and look in the history. And at one time, they were doing good. And got on to the discussion where look for ways to make things work. Address the issues, overcome the problems, but look for ways to make things work. You got it, Dolly. I was in somebody's chat one day and they said that they did not want people praying for them because they didn't know who some people was praying to. I thought that was different, shall we say. Well, everybody take a minute, say bye to one another. Uh, Everybody knows I hope only kind words come your way today. And I certainly hope everybody gets the day that they deserve. And we will catch everyone next time.